So, welcome back on my channel LightWave Guru. Peter, Mr. Profetto, you have a question about that car simulation I dropped here on that channel yesterday, and I hope I can answer in a way you understand. So your question is, what do you use to make the wheels move the correct speed? Is it linked to something, right? Or it's bullet driving the spinning of the wheels? And yes, that's correct. So let us switch the screen. And the thing is that, yeah, the bullet drive that car, the bullet options. And if we take a look in that setup, that it's the setup, yeah, here in the bullet for that car. So, and if I want that the motors work, I have only to enable it. So my general car setup for all cars I build is all time the same basic setup. So that setup I load in and build then with every time the same technique for the car, the setup, so that all geometry is linked, yeah. So for example, we have here that BMW M3 F30 is a sedan, so there's a call it in the car library. Yesterday another user means, hey, that's not a sedan, that's a coupe. I have no idea. It's, for me, is it a car from a library? With that I can build a setup and simulate a car, yeah. So if it's a coupe, okay, if not, not, yeah. So, and sorry, if you begin with the simulation and the bullet will then simulate that car on an uneven terrain, so I need for every wheel that it works correctly, yeah, is springs and a six-dorf, so that the six-dorf can see the ground and that wheel understand in what position it is. And also the wheel have a motor function. By the way, what you see here, that bolts, that is that I make here the collision detection for the wheels with the function shaped sphere. So that's a little tip for all beginners who work with bullet and want to create car setups, physical correct. The thing is, if a car drive on an uneven terrain, is it better to use a sphere? And the thing is that the sphere can better see the underground to detect that the wheels work in the best condition, yeah. So for example, if we change that, so for example we go here to 0 and I bring them all to cylinder, so that's the standard for even terrains, yeah, then the collision detection is also correct, but if you drive in a curve, then is it not so good. And the thing is, we have here that hard edged, yeah, and if you drive with that hard edge on an uneven terrain, then the bullet from time to time cannot calculate it correctly, and then the car jump a little bit or do things you not want, yeah, that nobody wants. That's the reason that in that case here I use sphere. You can also use capsule, make your own tests. It depends on that what you will do with the car. So back to that motor function. All that wheels have a shock absorber, yeah, and that shock absorber is this one here. You see it here, the shock absorber connectors, and that shock absorber connectors are simply for null objects, and this null object is linked to the car body himself, yeah. So if you see the setup in the scene editor, you would found under all from them this shock absorber connector. And if you build a setup like this, so you have then here the motor function as a separate null object, and that shock absorber connector is, for example, good if you have then here this little, in German is it Bremse, so yeah, and this is this part here, yeah, so you can stop the car if you drive. And the motor function himself, you see it here, is attached to that to the shock absorber, and itself have a motor function. And that motor function, normally, if you start the scene and you have a controller on that, on your computer, so a conform controller that LightWave can understand, you can direct drive the car with a controller. Yeah. So I have here no controller, so I use another way to animate the motor function for the speed. Yeah. So your question was how you bring it to the correct speed. For the speed, I have a little plug-in to see in what speed the car drive, and that's from OD Tools, now LightWave Pro Tools. And I show you that you can plug it in under the master plugins, and the name is OD Scene Info Overlay. Yeah, and there you can also activate a little function, and that is the display item speed. Yeah, so show me the item speed. So pick up an item from your car, and then he display the item speed, and you see it there here, and he show it in miles and in kilometer. You see it here on the right top side. Yeah, that's call it in my older version from LightWave OD Scene Info Overlay. I think in the new version is it's an LD Scene Info Overlay. So search for Scene Info Overlay. Then you see every time with what speed drives the car. Yeah. So that means if you build now from hand, if you have no controller, the motor speed, and you see it in my example video that the car stands still, some frames begin then to drive with here internal target motor speed from 1300, drive a while and stop then here to 0 motor target speed and begin then from new and makes the same, drive a while and stop then one more time, and you have it. Yeah, then you have that kind of setup you can copy to all other motors. Yeah, and in that way you can animate your car, and you can also see then with what speed your car drives. So if I activate it now and let the car then drive, and you activate display the right thing, then you can see in what way it works. And the moment is the wrong, here you see it, so that is not not the correct speed. You can do then the following: you go to the master plugin and say, okay, I want that you mess, for example, here the collision cage, yeah, for the speed, and then I think yes, he would show the correct speed, and you see it here. If the car begin to drive, then he show in what speed it drives. So in the moment with a motor target speed from 1300, yeah, so it works or not. Sometimes it works, sometimes not. So now he think he drive with 3000 miles, but ignored, found the right item, yeah, so that he show it in the correct way. Here visit OD Scene Overlay Info, and then it works. So it's not from interest in the moment, that can you do for yourself. So, and that means if you have set for one from that motors, and my setups per default have the options that I can build a car with a front wheel drive with 2 motors, or a car they're all wheels drive, then you can go here in and say copy for that, go to the next, yeah, so that in that case here that's the right motor, and go there in, and same then here, paste, and then you have there the same, so that all motors or all wheels are synchronized. Yeah, so in that case here, that's a front wheel drive, so that means that the motor right back and the motor left back is offline. Yeah, so if I want, I can give them also, if I enable it, that function, and if I want not, that is not enabled, then I put it offline. So that's the whole thing. Yeah, so, and that setup for me is my basic setup to build a car if I want that it have bullet function, so that is 100% physics, and I can then work with that. Yeah. Another thing I can show in that context is the collision cage. So the collision cage are simply 4 polygons that show the wheels in what high the feathers and the springs have to stop. Yeah, and so that the car not can sink too much in, and there you can give here a mass in kilogram, and you see that my car have a mass in kilogram from 15 kilograms, so that's totally unrealistic. Yeah, but it works, and the thing is, it depends on the mass from the wheels, like in the real life. So my wheels, for example, have 1 kilogram. Yeah, so we have here in the end the same mass distribution as in the real life. So I can give here also, for example, then a mass from 1500. So that's normally the mass from a car today. Yeah, and I can give in here for the wheels a mass from 15 to 20 kilogram. So that's normally the weight from a wheel today. And then I can experiment with the motor power to bring the car to drive. Yeah. So that's here also only for my internal bullet simulations. Yeah. So the one depends on another. Yeah. And in that way you can build cars with a specific characteristic. Yeah. So is a car more sporty, then I make it that it have not so much weight. Yeah. So that's more agile. Or I would simulate a limousine or another thing like that. Then I make the mass here higher. That means that the motors have more to do, that the car comes in motion. Yeah. So and the rest you can build here. You have here your springs, and for your springs, so that's the way that the wheel can go up and down. Yeah. So I have here a spring stiffness, and in that case it's here 2000, and I have a linear spring damping from 6%. That means in what way the spring react after some power comes into that feather, yeah, so that it damp a little bit. The same you can build if you want for angular. We need here only the linear damping, and you have here the 6-Stoff, and the 6-Stoff define in what way the feather works. Yeah. So in that case, for that car, the feather have a way from a half meter maximum. That's the maximum that the feather can go. Yeah. So 50 centimeter. Yeah. So that's in linear limits. Yeah. So and all other things you see here. So that means the motor is for that wheels is simple. Null object is connected to the shock absorber, and yeah, there you can give them a motor target speed. So Peter, I hope that it helped you a little bit, and I think for LightWave 2024 and 24 1 and 2 there is a big user content inside, and in that user content folder also some from my car setups are inside for trucks and for cars, and all that based all time on that same basic setup I show here. Yeah, so that's really a standard setup. You need to simulate cars and it works. Yeah, so the only you have to change is then if you use that setup for another car, that you have to bring the spring, the 6-Stoff and the hinge and the shock absorber and so in the right position where the wheel is, and define the way the springs works here and there, so that area here, and then I think it works with every car. Yeah, you have to simulate. So if you want to know more about that, then yeah, load from the scenes from the LightWave content folder and study that scene. So for example, the BMW, the BMW, there is here the same setup inside as I show here for that sedan. Yeah. So Peter would say we have it. Yeah? See you later. Bye.